Get ready to be amazed. Get ready to know things that are usually unknowable. Get ready for an hour of insight and fascinating entertainment with Dr. Linda Salvin. For nearly 3 decades, Dr. Linda has been one of America's most celebrated psychic readers, metaphysical clinicians, and unmatched talk show hosts, bringing insights and solutions to thousands of people worldwide. Pull up a chair, turn it up, and get ready for a visit with the one and only Dr. Linda. And now, live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Salvin.
Hi everybody, how you doing? This is Dr. Linda, and I hit the wrong button. I wanted to show off our new intro, but the other was still there and I clicked wrong, so maybe I'll run it in between now and the end of the show. We're having some funky energy out there. For those that don't know, the end of October was the beginning of the Mars retrograde, which is very aggressive and crazy and nasty, and it ended January 12th, and then we went through the holidays, then we went through the Mercury retrograde, which started the end of December through January 19th. And now all that's behind us. And now we're coming out for I feel like we've been in a padded cell and we're trying to regain our senses and where we're headed. I know spiritually, the more you pray, the more you're going to get. I watch it in my own life, even though you may not be religious. It has nothing to do with religion, but my spiritual path and the way that I've taught people for 30 plus years on radio is all about, is it odd or is it God? What's out there? What's the metaphysics? How does all of it work? Example, last night I had to get to an appointment and I called the woman. I said, I can get there in 5 minutes. Please don't close. And it was rush hour and there's usually no parking on the street where I had to go. And I said, come on, God, let me just get there. No sooner did I pull up in front of her store did a truck leave. So I parked. Then I ran into somebody I haven't seen in 8 months that I've been thinking about. And all of a sudden there's this person. So when timing is right, everything's divine intervention. Everything is all about how it all works to bring together the mind, body, spirit of life. And that's why I've been in metaphysics for 30-something years. I'm coming up on the 42nd anniversary of the plane crash I survived in 1981, of where I became psychic and started my career in radio in 1993 or 94. And here we are 30 years later. And I'm still doing it, only now it's platforms and it's the TV and it's YouTube and it's Facebook and everything that we didn't have when I got started. When I got started in radio, there was no internet. So for you younger people, I know you don't understand life without it, but there was. We grew up with it. The people, Steve Jobs was a customer of my father's when my father was in business in the 70s, and Steve Jobs was building Apple using products my father was manufacturing, knowing that all of this was coming down the pike. And one day he said, Linda, I said, what? He said, the way of the future is computers. I'm like, okay, well, look at us now. Phones, desktops, iPads, earbuds, wherever you go, even at the market, everything's scanned. You just don't do things remotely anymore. I think that the humans are becoming more Android and they're making AIs that are becoming more sentient. It's getting to be wacky out there. One of these days, we won't know if we're talking to an Android robot or a human because they're becoming so human-like, the humanoids. I don't know where we're going, but I know we'll make it through. It's just another revolution on Earth. So I am a psychic, a healer, a medium. I've been doing this since, professionally since 1992. I started my psychic work, got into radio in 94, but in between that, I was on Psychic Friends Network with Dionne Warwick. Actually, there's Dionne and me in a picture from there, and that's James Taylor, and there's B.B. King, who's no longer alive, and that's Peter Yarrow from Peter, Paul, and Mary, and right behind me is President Ford, who I met when I was a student at the University of Michigan in 1977. He came to campus after Carter took office, and I was vice president of the Student Association for the School of Public Health and got invited to a dinner to impress and meet the president. I was drinking wine at the time, and I talked with my hands, which a lot of you know I'm always moving, and I knocked over the glass of wine. We were at the head table. My friend Rob was across from me, and I'm over here, and the board was about 3 people down on the other side, and he goes like this. You just see his eyes watching this red wine float down the white tablecloth. But yeah, I met President Ford. I met some interesting people along the way of pre-psychic and then through the psychic, and who knows where I'm headed next. Although I will tell you, I am leaving town on Tuesday. I'm flying to New York, and I'm going to be on a couple of TV shows, which I will explain next Thursday when I'm in New York. And I will tell you what shows I'm going to be on. And then it'll be after I film the shows that I'll have dates so you can see them on ABC, E, NBC, and other stations worldwide or nationwide. I'm having a good day, and I hope you are too. But at the same time, there's a lot of negativity going on out there, which we're all aware of. There's always the yin and yang in life, and what we do with it is the challenge. And you can stay the victim, or you can stay stuck, or you can stay, oh, poor me, or you can stay chipping away to finally get to where you need to go, or you surrender and stop fighting, because everything's a fight out there. I just bashed Comerica Bank. Yep, and I told them I was going to mention them on the air. Comerica Bank in Studio City was so rude, I took all my money out. I'm not going to deal with it. You want to mess me up and I'm your customer? For example, I withdrew some money, asked the teller for some cash out of a different account, and he said, no, go to the next window. I spent 14 minutes with you and I'm going on break. I'm like, excuse me? So I reported it to the corporate office in Michigan, who got back to the regional director here in Los Angeles. And I just hung up with her. So I'm still a little testy because I was rude, because I didn't want to take any slack. I told her what happened. It's her problem, but bank will survive without me as their customer, but that's not how you treat people. Excuse me, another 90 seconds in your break. I don't think they would have fired him if he was a little late to the bathroom. So that's kind of stuff I don't like dealing with, but if I really feel wrong, I speak up now. For what? Customer service has gotten so bad for all of us, whether it's the major corporations, the banks, retail markets. Harvard, I don't know, about 6 years ago, did some research, and apparently they created a poor customer service system deliberately because somehow it increases their profit. I don't understand the theory, but I did the research as to why are all of us struggling, whether it's your phones, if it's a refrigerator, if it's the bank, if it's a credit card, you're never easily handled. If you're anything like me, it takes 3 or 4 phone calls to find the nice one and get the job done. So if you are listening and you can relate, let me hear from you about that in the chat, and we'll address something like that. I just don't want to do love life all day long. Now, I'm going to bring a woman onto the show that I've been working with since maybe mid-2005, somewhere in there. She found me on radio. You'll hear her story. She has burned the candles 1,000 times. She's in Chicago, Illinois. She's a Yale graduate in law. So she's an attorney, meaning she's not just some flake that does candles. Okay, so it's not just super new agey people that come to me. I have an attorney here that's going to testify to the work I've been doing and how it's affected her life. And those of you that do Wicks of Wisdom, when you read the PDF file, History of Candle Power, there are 2 testimonials that are slated there. And one is from a woman who's probably deceased now, but her husband was kept alive from the water on the brain with encephalitis. And she was a interior decorator, and she wrote a testimony on the candles. And then we have Jennifer Smith, who wrote a testimony of what was happening to her back then, because that was published around 2006, and it's still in the PDF file now. So without any more ado, I want to bring on Jennifer Smith. I've become dear friends with through the years, which I do with a lot of people. Once I start connecting, either I like you or get out of my face, and you know it in my voice. Right, Jennifer? How are you?
Hey, Linda, thank you so much for the marvelous introduction. And yes, I'm grateful that you like me because I love you. You're just fantastic,
Thank you.
fantastic. And the candles, I burned them 1,000 times because they
Yes,
work.
they do.
They really work.
Jennifer, as I said, graduated from Yale Law School. Yale Law School is the #1 school in the country, folks. We thought University of Michigan was #1, but they're not. Yale's above Michigan. I'm Go Blue. I went to Michigan. We were #1 in public health when I was there. But Yale Law, that means this lady's pretty smart. So, Jennifer, when you got into law school, were you always looking to be a lawyer as a child? Was it a dream, or did you sort of like fall into it and say, I guess I'll go to law school? How'd that happen?
Well, that's a good question. It actually was a culmination of a lot of things. It had always been my mom's dream to go to law school, so I kind of wanted to further that ambition for her, where circumstances would not permit, socially and economically for her to realize her dream as a lawyer. So I said, "Would I do it?" But somehow I thought, Linda, going to law school was going to help me. I always wanted to be a diplomat. I
You still can.
always
You can go to DC.
I always wanted to. I didn't know about the Foreign Service. When I applied to colleges, I applied to there's Pomona College in
Yeah,
California,
it's a
and
40-minute ride from me.
right, they do. They have a language center where you could live and be immersed in languages as a student. There's Middlebury College in Vermont. I was going to learn all these languages. I was going to have the law degree to support me, and I was going to unite everybody in the world. That
Of
was
course.
my
And I was going to find the cure to cancer. Go on.
right. There you go. That was my take on
Yeah, we all have the dream, right?
you're right on diplomacy and that you needed a law degree. And when I did get into law school and get into the law, it was really I didn't realize that it was so I won't say restricted, but it wasn't. This is going to be your law school pass to being in the Foreign Service. Now I really, I'm not curious, but I just watch all of the innovations, like you were talking about the computers, and I do see people taking on what back when I was in law school was considered an alternative legal career. But I'm so proud and overwhelmed and happy when I see people saying, "Oh, I'm doing this," or "I'm doing housing for the homeless," and I have a law degree. So I'm very, very impressed with. What the younger generations are
Well, the
doing.
degree, as we find, like I have a master's in epidemiology, the big word today for public health and diseases
Right.
and epidemics, right?
Mhm.
But I left that after the plane crash in '81 when I was doing occupational health and safety. You've got the education, which means you've got the key to open doors and you're smart. And the school, I think, is more about discipline, getting the reports done, showing up for exams, getting the degree shows you can do something as opposed to not. But my father had one of the most successful businesses in his field. Like I was saying earlier, Steve Jobs was buying from my dad's company back in the '70s.
Mhm.
But my dad dropped out of college. So it doesn't mean you have to have a degree to get somewhere. That's not true at all. You can make probably more money without a degree if you do it right in business. The degree sometimes pigeonholes you into more of a practitioner situation, even though our ego says, oh, I'm educated. But a lot of people respect it. I have respected you from the day you first found me and said, oh, I'm an attorney. I'm in Chicago. I need candles. I need this. My father's this. My debts are that. I'm like, okay. And that's how this started. So even though you went to school and you've had all these great jobs, you do take care of your mom.
Yes,
You
yes, I
have
do.
been very much the daughter. You've sacrificed certain things with career and life goals because of your mom. So, why don't you talk a little bit about your Catholic upbringing and how you got into a psychic that is so against religion, right, in their eyes, and talk to the audience.
Well, actually, I'm going to say I'm masquerading. I was masquerading as a Catholic in Chicago. There's a huge Catholic population, and when I was young, I wanted so much to go to Catholic school. All my friends went to Catholic school, and my mom would say, "Well, I'm a public school teacher, so I have to support the system that supports me." But it was just like an overwhelming draw in Chicago, and we also were involved in a metaphysical church. I'd say from when I was
Wow.
9
Wow.
on. And so, if anybody's familiar with the Unity movement, it's now in Unity, Kansas. Sometimes people know about Silent Unity, or they know about the poet James Dillett Freeman.
Is that where you have an 800 line to call for the prayer?
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
have called that years ago. Okay, I'm familiar with it, but you
Right.
just reminded me. Go on.
Right.
Go
And
on.
so it's founded by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. And then the prayer that I think some of the astronauts, I forgot what module, what space module, Apollo or whatever, James Dillard Freeman wrote the prayer that they
Wow.
take, that they recite about just, I am God. I can't even, I'm thinking of another prayer by Hannah Moore Kohlhaas, another big Unity member. God is my health. I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing quick. God is my all. I know no fear, since God and love and truth are here. So it's always about truth. Like you were just saying, there are no coincidences. There are no
No,
coincidences that you and I
no.
met. There are no coincidences about the parking space being available. Everything is in divine order
It is, and most
all
of us
the
don't
time.
see it because we're so wrapped up in worry and fear. And oh my God, what's he thinking? What's she thinking? Is with the appointment? I need the money. I got to get the job done. I got the appointment. We're so wrapped up in our daily stuff, we forget to see the universe, which is why for years I always talk about the butterfly as
Yeah.
being God's wink, right? And I'll go over the poem again in just a moment. But go on, you're doing great. I love hearing all this.
Well, James Dillard Freeman in the poem just came back to me. The love of God surrounds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. There are more stanzas, but I can't.
And
But
when people freak out, I always say, okay, God is, I was taught in the 70s, I think, God is, life is, no, life is, God is, I am.
correct.
That's another way of
Right.
like bringing it into focus so that you're more in harmony. And I'm going to just do the butterfly poem, which is called God Are You Real, which you've heard me say 1,000 times on there. And it's a little child, which is why I've got the little butterfly on my website and the little, I'm reciting the poem on a video that goes in the infomercial and that stuff. Because this is how it comes home for what God is in my brain. Even though I'm Jewish, I wear Star of David. I don't care what religion people are, because religion is man-made. We're taught things. We are given historical beliefs, but when you really get away from the church and temple and you still see God, like the parking spot or running into somebody or whatever the divine universe has in mind, there's a child searching for God. He says, God, are you real? And the child whispered, God, speak to me. And the meadowlark sang, but the child did not hear. So the child said, God, speak to me. And the thunder rolled across the sky, but the child did not listen. So the child said, God, speak to me. And the star shone brightly, but the child did not see. So the child said, God, show me a miracle. And a child was born, but the child did not know. So the child exclaims, touch me, God, show me you're real. Whereupon God reaches down and touches the child, but the child brushed the butterfly away and walked away unknowingly. That's why I have butterflies everywhere, because it's a wink of God. It's proving, hey, it's something as simple as that, as opposed to all this other stuff out there. It's like the poems you just recited are beautiful, and yes, it gives somebody something to think on a philosophical level, on a spiritual level, metaphysical level, and to bring it all in, just like the butterfly thinking about stars or thunder. What is all this? If it's not God, what is it? And people say, oh, there is no God. Well, how do you know there's no God? Having an opinion of no God is an opinion on God. It's all there. I don't know if it's a black hole theory or the Big Bang theory or if we're aliens or who knows. We're here now. I know there's a God from being in a plane crash. I know that I didn't wake up psychic except that day. It changed. And through the time, I ended up in radio, as you know, and Psychic Friends Network, blah, blah. And then you found me on radio in 2005-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Start talking how you found me on your TV, coming through your TV, because I was doing cable radio back then across the nation.
Yes, I found you. I was living in downtown Chicago then, and I found you, and I was like, candles. Because I was sharing with you that, most of my friends when I grew up, they were Catholic and they went to Catholic school, and I wanted so much to be, but they always talked to me about this phenomenon, intercessory prayer. And that's what I feel like candle magic is, that, the petitioner, which is a legal term, you write the petition, and then you have these intercessors working on your behalf, be they angels or loved ones who've passed over or whatever. They're with the candles, they're working on your behalf to bring these prayers into fruition. you
So if
know.
you needed money or to get rid of blocks and obstacles, when you first came to me, I think we did what was called Good Luck and Money and Success, but they had different names back then. And you were going through some financial difficulties.
Yes,
And you were
I
worried
had,
about your mortgage.
yeah, and I had because I had mortgage and I had assessments. I was in an HOA situation where, you know, they were like, we can get you out of your place faster. The mortgage
You
company
were
needs four
freaking out when
months.
you
Yeah,
first came to me.
I was
Tell
really
people
freaking out.
what happened.
Well, I burned I
The money and
requested,
success.
ordered
Yeah.
the sets, and I burned the good luck one. Well, the one to clear all the obstacles first.
Back then it was jinx removal. Yeah.
Right. And then I burned money and success. And all of a sudden, a better job came. And the looming threat of it's going to happen through the mortgage company with the foreclosure or HO, it all ended. It just ceased. I don't know if they lost my paperwork. Well, I know because I burned the candles, but it was like, you
Yeah.
know, it was just
Yeah.
such a relief.
Yeah.
And I've been a believer ever since. I've also burned the health candles when I first found out, I think in 2007, about my mom and some of her medical conditions. So I've burned the yellow candles. I
Yep.
remember those
Health and wellness.
distinctly. And I have had some, you know, legal issues, and people say you're your attorney. No, I'm supposed to
Doesn't
help.
mean you're not having problems.
I'm not
Everybody has problems.
right. I'm not having any problems with that. I'm trying to think. I've just gone through so
You've
many.
gone through several. Yeah, you
Yeah,
have.
several sets, and the candles have really been like a lifeboat for me because there was a situation, a place I worked at that was I was telling you was so oppressive, and it was just any day I was just like,
She
what's
could not wait to get up. They were abusing and bullying her and taking advantage of her, not paying her. And here's an attorney from Yale, folks. Yale attorney who's
but sometimes,
getting.
Linda, that doesn't inspire
No,
people.
it
I find
doesn't.
that
No, it
brings up the
doesn't. But
worst.
I'm inspiring you because that's hard. I mean, I
Yeah.
applied to Yale and got rejected. Okay, I'm lucky I got into Michigan, but you got into Yale law. Okay, and the people that you work for, a lot of the times, because I've heard what you're going through, they had no respect for you, lawyer or not. You as a
No.
human being. I don't know if it was racist. I don't know if it was jealousy. I don't know if it was financial, but you were up against the wall, constantly fighting, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, pushing your way through this till finally I said, do the candles, let's find another job. Oh, you think I'll get another job? You got offered a better job.
Better job.
But we got you out of that mess. But man, you
Right.
stuck it out for a while. You were that punching bag. That was bad. I remember.
I stuck it out for quite some time because, you know, we're both of the time where your parents are like, just work somewhere 30 years, 35 years, get a gold watch, and you know, just be good. And
Yeah.
it's like, but I'm being good, and I'm still not I'm being tolerated. I'm not being accepted, and every day is a struggle. And they just, to this day, they don't understand the leaving. You know, they were just like, why? And it was a good government job. So why would you leave? Like, why would you leave the post
Yeah, you were
office?
secure. You had all the holidays, all the benefits, but man, you were suffocating. And now, I mean, that's happened years ago, but you've gone through different jobs and people come after you. And then sometimes I'll get a call from Jennifer. Oh my God, I need something. And this just happened. What do you think? So I'll give her a couple of sets of candles and then she'll write back, oh my God, I just got a new job. You're not going to believe this. You won't believe that. I said, yes, I do. And then what happens with the candles, here's some bottles as an example of what the oils look like. You get 4 bottles per set of 3 candles with herbs, oils, powders, and then the petitions are these little round pieces of paper, which is where I dictate or teach you how to write. So if you look at the candle, and in Kabbalah, it represents the soul of man. The wick, when lit, is the flame, which is light, which is God. So you're feeding God the petition, which is the wish and needs or directive, and it goes out into the universe. Is it odd or God? Why is it with these 4 bottles of oil and a piece of paper that things happen? That's the magic, that's the metaphysics, but it's real stuff. Now,
Right.
I want to toot my own horn. I've been talking to somebody anonymously who happens to be a psychic in London. And I finally decided to tell her who I am. She goes, you the one with the candles? I said, yeah. And she says, they work. I said, you've bought them? So I looked her up. She used to buy from me all the time. I did not know she was psychic. She didn't know I was the one she was talking to because it's in an anonymous portal for psychic stuff. And I'll consult with a psychic or I'll book in my own questions as a psychic because I need people on that higher frequency that gets what I'm about besides different frequencies I deal with on a daily basis. There's people bashing me, 2 stars here, 1 star there, 5 stars here. Everybody's out to get the next, but I know my work. I know my effectiveness for the right people who can hear and want and need the message. People like you, I can talk to all the time. Certain people's like, oh my God, I got another 40 minutes. Like I'm watching the clock go away already, because they're not hearing the message. They don't want to learn or lose weight or change something in their behavior, or they want to keep waiting for the guy that already married someone else and they're convinced they're going to leave the wife for them, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the people that want the spiritual truth and the soul circle understanding, it's right here. So even though you come from Catholicism, and yes, I've had a lot of people, Jen, who would call and say, well, I really can't work with you. My priest won't allow it. I said, I have priests and rabbis. I once had a rabbi come to me, had 7 children, and he came to me to ask permission to have an affair with some lady he met at temple. I'm like, do what you want. You're not... There's just people problems. It's just people. Men of cloth or not. It's all bunk. It's just a theory, but it's how you live it. It's what you want to do. It's what you want to achieve. But you have gone leaps and bounds in 15 years that I've known you, of course. But nothing's easy. But you've come through the obstacles, Jennifer, in such a wonderful manner that it keeps you going. And then just in the last few months, you've been offered some pretty interesting opportunities. Want to bring us up to date?
Yes. In fact, one I remember I wrote you about, they didn't want to interview me. They initially had turned me down in October. And then I ordered a set. I got the good luck, the ones that clear all the obstacles, obstructions, blockages, negative energy, curses, whatever. Burned that. And then I think I was finished with that set. And in the midst of money and success, and the same recruiter called me who couldn't get me the interview. And she says, hey, Jen, you know that place? And she called me. It was a weird time, like 7 or 8 at night, Central Standard Time. I was like, yeah, what's up? And she says, I just got a call. Can you get me some attorneys? And, you don't mind? She said, I don't understand. I couldn't even get them to give you an interview in October. I said, I know. And she says, I want you. And she says, I was just asked. So she says, so are you still available? I said, sure. And thus began. And when I hung up, though, on the phone, I said, I know. I have to report this.
Exactly where it all
exactly what happened. I mean, we couldn't make them budge for no interview. Who does that? Nobody. She couldn't get any leeway or anything.
Because the candles will bust through blocks, obstacles, negativity, curses, bad luck if you're using good luck power. I'm going to run a small spot on the money, on the health and wellness for just a moment. You hang in. Let's just put this little spot out.
Okay.
Use this set of candles to assist in strengthening the immune system, heal from various ailments, enhance general health and well-being, and target and help heal specific health issues. They can expedite the healing process, and they're great to use before and after surgeries, and it can encourage physical, emotional, and spiritual healing.
I just want to play the new intro that everybody worked on. I have this amazing team, so hold on. I got to play this again. We'll be right back.
Get ready to be amazed. Get ready to know things that are usually unknowable. Get ready for an hour of insight and fascinating entertainment with Dr. Linda Salvin. For nearly 3 decades, Dr. Linda has been one of America's most celebrated psychic readers, metaphysical clinicians, and unmatched talk show hosts, bringing insights and solutions to thousands of people worldwide. Pull up a chair, turn it up, and get ready for a visit with the one and only Dr. Linda. And now, live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Salvin.
Okay, I have to brag. I have a team with a guy named Christopher, Jonathan, Dave, Fred, and then my new webmasters are Anika, Tony, and Brian. And all these people together have been putting pieces of the brand and the work to rebrand where I'm headed, which I don't know. But with the new logo and the new intro and all the different graphics. A lot of that's Dave and Fred. It's Fred's voice. The voiceover is by Fred Missman. He'll be on the show. He gave me my start in radio in 1994. He saw my talent then, and he's still my voice 29 years later. He still does my elements. Yeah. So even though I'm building the internet station, and then I'm going to go live on the station besides the StreamYard and the YouTube and all that, and then I'm going to be on an FM station again, it's all changing again. And a lot of it does have to do with burning the candles, like Jennifer's talking about, because I too have to remove blocks, obstacles, negativity. Plus I get cursed and a lot of crap thrown at me because I'm in the light and I'm trying to help people, and there's always something to bring me down, you know. Same thing in law, same thing in healthcare, same thing in the auto sales. People are jealous, or people are resentful, or people are just, I don't want to get into politics and racial stuff going on. We got enough of that. But it's just life. But because of the Wicks of Wisdom, I do have a tool that cuts through a lot of the crap. I really do. And Jennifer is sitting here explaining that even she's been stuck for a job, or if it was the finances or the HMO, not the HMO, the homeowners association. He's cleared up.
Yeah.
But how? Well, because of the candles.
The candles. And I agree with you, Linda. There, I read this quote. I forgot who it was attributed to. Not me, but it's a quote that says, "Some people will never like you because your spirit irritates their demons."
Yeah, I've read that. Yeah, or too much in the light. The light, like they say, blinded by the light. Now you understand what it means. The oddball, the loner, the wallflower, the whatever. If you're not the party person in the middle of, you know, getting drunk and loaded and throwing yourself around or whatever, and you're on the outside looking in, and a lot of times we're the ones who are bullied.
Yes.
I was bullied all my life.
Yeah.
You know, I found my own path. You found your path, and a lot of those people that bullied are no longer here. I think I shared about 8 months ago, I got a phone call from a girl I grew up with in Girl Scouts in my neighborhood. And she called me last May or April. She called me last April or May, I don't remember, to apologize for all the bullying she did to me from the time I was 9 till I was about 14.
Wow.
And she called, she was dying of pancreatic cancer. And I said, "I know why you're calling. You're making your amends before you die." And she said, "Yes, I'm sorry. And I can still see your mom yelling at me one day on the lawn," meaning her family lived in this big home in our neighborhood. It was one of the larger, and we used to play croquet on the lawn. And my mom came and yelled at her to say, "Stop it," with how she was abusing me emotionally, name calling and being fat and whatever. And she said she never stopped thinking about that. Nobody else in her life. Now, this woman would have been 69 years old last August, but she died about a month before her birthday. But she and I kept in touch a few times. But she called to apologize because the resentment and the angst and the fear, it's all inside our memory. It's all inside our spirit. Yes, our soul holds memory. So for someone to come forward and say, "I'm sorry," even though it's long gone, but it was important to her to clean up before she transferred over. A lot of people don't, but that's making amends, and that's the beautiful part of living a spiritual life, to be cleaner or healthier or more free or more balanced or more at peace within ourselves, right? It's the action. You don't have to be on your hands and knees and praying all the time, because God will hear your prayer.
Right.
Sometimes I'm on my hands and knees saying, "I just really need this," or before I go to sleep, I'll say, "Thanks, Mom. Good night, God. Good night, Mom." Boom, I'm out. Because I'm connected. People don't understand the power of prayer. You don't have to be at church lighting candles like you and I were talking about in the Catholic Church. You know, we have the everlasting light in a temple, which just hangs over the pew. But there's different ways to connect to God. There's different ways to find your God. There's different ways to manipulate things. But we can't always get it done. And that's where I developed Wicks of Wisdom, because it took life to another level to help people achieve more through a spiritual technique where I took Santeria and combined it with Kabbalah. And I took away the occult, as you know, and made it stream. And here we are.
Yeah.
And I know you need to go.
I need to go. Mom care.
Yep. But, you know, I am grateful that you took time out I would love to have you back maybe in the summer. We'll do more when you've got a little freer time, a little more time. We can do a
Definitely.
or something. But I wanted the audience to know that you've been around here for 15 years, that you're Catholic, and you still did spiritual candles, right? And can you testify to any of the work, the readings, the predictions that have come true?
Oh, everything you said to me has come true. I'm like, there'll be more to talk about in the summer because there'll be more sets, and I'll be able to tell you the results from those sets that I've ordered.
Okay.
So,
okay,
right now I'm burning a protection set, and it's working wonders. So,
when you're feeling more grounded, or just you can feel like a little cloak around you where you don't have as much anxiety.
Exactly. I know God will handle it. I don't have to, it's like a weight taken off of my shoulders.
Protection candles are white, and the formula is different than any other. But with what she's going through for balance, harmony, unconditional love, and dysfunctional situations, that's what the harmony set does. It removes the dysfunction and calms it down. So now you can even focus on work or your mom or whatever in a more balanced manner without freaking out all the time. It's working.
It's working. It's working. Trust me.
I love you to death. Thank you for joining the show, Jennifer. We'll be in touch soon. I know that.
All right. We will be. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk. Take care. Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye.
That was Jennifer Smith calling in from Chicago, Illinois. She is an attorney, graduated from Yale. Yes, I keep throwing it out there because it's important that it's not just the new age people thinking, oh, yes, I burn candles. No, I deal with senators, celebrities, everyday people, doctors, lawyers. I have an MD coming on next week. You'll hear her story where she came to me to help her with a cardiovascular presentation for second-year medical students. And I turned the physiology and anatomy of cardiovascular disease into romance and the heart. And she presented it. You'll hear that next week. That'll be with Dr. Sue Ann Williams. She'll be on the show. I'm going to bring Jonathan back up. Now, if any of you have any questions or comments, and I know there's a few of you watching, be sure to type in the chat. Eventually, yes, I'm going to get a phone line so I can do real readings, real talking, and not this chat stuff. I may be old school, but I like hearing your voice. I like answering your questions with love, money, moving, travel, health, communication, spirituality, God, who's God, what's God, how do you find God? Oh, that's what I've been doing since 1994 on radio, folks. So if you have a question, let me hear it. If you don't want to talk here, feel free to go to lindasalvin.com. Hi, woo-woo. And you can pay for a reading, healing, channeling session or order candles. Now, I will be out of town through Valentine's Day. And John, you're going to have to edit that. I'm going to be out of town, so the packages might be delayed a little, but I'll be online. I'll be able to see your order and let you know where we stand. Would you have a question for me? Where are you calling in from so I can see where you're at? Anybody else? Now the people are starting to join in again. So, yes, the candles are on sale. The candles will work to remove blocks, obstacles, negativity, enhance your love life. It can bring in money, success, help you pass law exams. It can help you pass real estate boards, open doors. I got a set called Path Power, which helps you get grounded, focused, and out of procrastination, gets you motivated so you don't just wane all the time. It's really to help you get the oars back on the boat, even if you drop the oars. It'll get you there. Woo-woo says, no, ma'am, just supporting. That's cool. Thank you very much. So you're always welcome to ask a question or just go to my website, lindasalvin.com. And I hope you're all subscribing to the YouTube channel because we're going to fix that page eventually and make that more competitive, I guess, with what's going on out there with the YouTube world. I don't know. It's beyond me. But I'm going to be having a new show on recovery. I'm going to be doing a show with music. I'm going to be doing a show with Storm Monroe. We're going to be doing a show probably in March. He and I are going to do a Sunday show. So that the two of us will be, I don't know what we're going to call it, Storm and Linda. Linda and Storm. I don't know yet, but it'll be probably 5 shows a week. So you'll get different aspects, different categories. And I'm going to start bringing on musicians who've won gold records and platinum albums and people that have played in big bands and have great musical history. That'll be a whole nother type of show, and it'll start happening. And I want you to join in on all of that. because I have built a radio station. So now I'm going to fill up some of the time, and I'll probably do 4 o'clock Pacific every day, or maybe I'll go to 1 o'clock Pacific, which would be 4 o'clock Eastern. I don't know. I need to hear from you. What's a good time for you to tune in without basketball, football, baseball, dinner, driving in traffic, or whatever, right? I'm going to bring Jonathan on right now to co-host with me because I'm not really sure where we're going to go the last couple of minutes. Otherwise, we'll cut it short, which is no problem. Hey, John.
Hey, how's it going, Linda? Hey,
Good.
everybody.
So Jonathan's my editor, and Jonathan takes pieces of the show and makes it more compact to what really needs to be done. Like, I know you're going to take out that one sentence I just told you to notate. And then
Sure.
what's going to happen is Jonathan's going to be taking snippets of the shows I've done. This is like the 22nd show now on YouTube of the Dr. Linda Salvin show. And we're going to make a whole new show with different aspects of interviews, plus take some of my old shows where people were calling in with love, money, communication, whatever they were talking about, and I was doing the psychic readings on there. And we're going to make a whole new show with old elements that you can hear 24/7 at Linda Salvin Radio at lindasalvin.com. We have a whole system, folks, so you don't have to just wait till Thursday. You go to lindasalvin.com. There are podcasts and shows going 24/7. I was doing this stuff before the podcast world. Okay, so it's not, I got a lot of what they call content. I got a lot of stuff, but Jonathan's going to work with me to make new shows, which is going to go on the FM station, which you'll be able to hear online streaming, because it used to be CBS, and now it's Odyssey, so that's coming in March. So I've got a lot happening. We do have the new intros, and if you have any questions or ideas or topics that you want covered. Last week, somebody wanted to know about crystals. Well, crystals have a world of their own with the energy, whether it's rose quartz, beautiful pink ones to bring in love or to calm you down and change your energy, or to attract a loved one, or to even have your own heart open. You know, the heart, like I said, I got a cardiologist coming on the show next week. The heart keeps, it's the center of life. Without our heart, we have no beat for life. So if it's clogged up, you can't really love. I remember when my father had open heart surgery in 1988 or 89, and then it became nicer. I said, why did you have this when I was a kid? Because the heart had to open through disease for him to become more loving for whatever anger or repressed emotion he held, which turned into a heart illness. So every part of the body metaphysically represents a part of ourselves. As a metaphysical healer, and those that have had healings with me know, where you're laying down with the breathing, color, and words, I will remove blocks, obstacles, negativity, grief, guilt, shame, fear, if you've been molested, abused, battered, whatever. I get the old emotion out of your liver, kidney, spleen, breast, penis, toes, fingers, elbows, whatever, to help you feel more love and acceptance within yourself. You don't have to carry the past. You don't have to carry the pain. You don't. That's what I do as a spiritual healer, folks. I can help you. I've been told sometimes I've been able to do in 1 or 2 sessions what sometimes takes 3 years of therapy. I'm here for you at lindasalvin.com. So I think we're going to cut it short tonight, Jonathan. If you would edit that one piece, that's fine. But we got most of what I wanted, which was to talk to Jennifer Smith, the attorney, and her experience, especially coming from a very Catholic upbringing, but to have gone totally metaphysics and spiritual, educated, but still understanding. So the beauty of the balance, kind of like the cognitive with the spiritual that came together in her life, is the message I want to put out for other people. So if you're struggling with that concept, give me a call at 888-509-1077 or shoot me an email at lindasalvin.com. I will be broadcasting from New York next week, so I hope you join me then. And when I have Dr. Williams on with me, Jonathan will be back. And until then, I want everybody to have a good week and stay safe. Jonathan, thank you for everything as always.
Thank you too, Linda, and thank you all. Really excited to be sharing the upcoming things, as Linda mentioned, and stay tuned for the next one.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to do that little outro. Take care.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed today's program with Dr. Linda. Need a breakthrough of your own? Ready for answers or insights nobody else has? Reserve your own one-on-one in-person chat. Dr. Linda isn't just for other people. Dr. Linda gets results for you. And it's easy. Contact details are on screen now. Just click on lindasalvin.com or call toll-free 888-509-1077. That's lindasalvin.com or toll-free at 888-509-1077.